Tonight, charges laid in an ongoing investigation into members of the Thunder Bay Police Service.
Nobody really knows what's going on except for what the police are releasing.
Members of a Cree First Nation in northern Manitoba want answers after police tasered a disabled teenage boy.
This funding will allow us to focus on individuals from the beginning towards the end.
And more funding for training in Nunavut. Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. The Ontario Provincial Police has laid charges against a former member of the Thunder Bay Police Service. The OPP's Criminal Investigations Branch announced the charges against Holly Walburn on Tuesday. Walburn is the former legal counsel for the police service. Walburn is facing 5 charges, including 3 counts of obstruction of justice, breach of trust by a public officer, and obstruct public or peace officer. Walburn resigned from the police service in April 2023. In a statement, lawyers representing Walburn say, "We are shocked and disappointed that the OPP decided to charge her. We look forward to seeing the OPP's evidence and to defending the case in court." In late 2021, the Provincial Attorney General requested that the OPP investigate allegations of misconduct by members of the Thunder Bay Police. In December of last year, Sergeant Mike Diminy was arrested and charged with 2 counts of assault and 1 count each of breach of trust by a police officer and obstructing justice as part of the same investigation. The OPP says the investigation is ongoing. In southwestern Nova Scotia this past weekend, Fisheries officers arrested a Mi'kmaq family for harvesting elvers because the elver season was cancelled by the Department of Fisheries and Oceans about a month ago. However, the family says they will never stop fishing and were back on the water last night. Angel Moore reports.
This video posted on social media shows John Paul, his daughter, niece, and grandson arrested for unauthorized elver fishing. This comes 2 weeks after 2 Mi'kmaq fishers in southern Nova Scotia allege fisheries officers left them stranded with no footwear hours from home.
They never took our boots, and they wanted to take our phones, but we wouldn't let them. And if Cheyenne never showed up, we would have had to walk.
That's because DFO officers seized this Jeep as part of their investigation. It belongs to Paul's niece. Another relative, Cheyenne Francis, filmed this video when she arrived at the scene.
I got a big knot in my stomach because, you know what, the only reason why they're doing this now is because they know that we do this to feed our families, and they don't like that.
Paul says that will not stop his family from fishing.
We have our own management plan, and we follow that. And on our reserve, our chief and counsel guide us. And that's the way I'm always going to fish. I listen to my chief and counsel. I don't listen to DFO. I'm sorry.
In an act of defiance, the family went back out harvesting elvers Monday night. It was a quiet night with no fisheries officers in sight, but the catch was not as much as they hoped.
We come here to fish elvers, man, and we're going to fish them. It's our treaty right, and we're not going to stop. You could take all the vehicles we have. If we have to get horses and ride horses in here to elver fish, we will.
The federal government closed the 2024 elver fishing season, citing conservation and safety. Francis questions the closure and says safety is an issue when the Mi'kmaq harvest lobster.
But yet they're going to close down this season for elvers because of safety. Why didn't they do that in 2020 when it was more of there was more violence being at that period of time in 2020 than there was last year or any time on any river.
1 kilogram of elvers can be worth up to $5,000. The Mi'kmaq harvest elvers to earn a moderate livelihood. Francis says the closure does not impact treaty rights.
because they closed the season down does not mean that our treaty rights has stopped at any given time. Our treaty rights is always going to be there.
The Department of Fisheries and Oceans confirmed to APTN News on April 6, fisheries officers arrested 5 people who are under investigation for violating the Fisheries Act. 1 vehicle was seized, fishing gear, and 2.54 kilograms of elvers were released back into the river. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Southwestern Nova Scotia.
A new report says it will cost just over $349 billion to close the First Nations infrastructure gap by 2030. The report was released by the Assembly of First Nations in Ottawa on Tuesday morning. It includes First Nations needs in housing, roads, climate change adaptation, digital connectivity, and education. Indigenous Services Minister Patty Hajdu was asked Tuesday about the government's commitment to closing the First Nations infrastructure gap in the next 6 years.
That's certainly still the goal. I will say that in order for that to happen, all levels of government, all orders of government, and indeed private sector and the federal government will have to work together. This is a big, big lift. It's not just obviously the investment of money. We talk about $400 billion. Can you imagine if we asked First Nations communities to do all of that infrastructure work right now at the same time? There are practical challenges with infrastructure development in communities that are limited by other factors besides money.
Still in Ottawa, a parliamentary committee continues to examine the options to establishing a red dress alert system. Witnesses from several Indigenous organizations appeared before the Status of Women Committee on Tuesday morning. The government is exploring setting up a red dress alert system similar to the Amber Alert system in the hopes of reducing the high numbers of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Witnesses testified that the system needs to operate 24/7 and be national in scope. Native Council of Nova Scotia President Lorraine Augustine also said the system must be Indigenous-led and operated.
The command center, I think, as I said before, it has to be run by Indigenous. It has to be 24/7, and it also has to have the guidelines and be there for the family to report that, right? So if it's not Indigenous-led, a lot of times our women, even our families, don't want to call and report because if they say it's an Indigenous woman, they're not going to get the reaction that they want.
You can share your views on the red dress alert on our website. It's one of our poll questions this week. There are many other ways to continue the conversation with APTN News. If you have a story you want to share, you can send us an email to news@aptn.ca. To read and watch our stories, you can go to our website. That's aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Members of Norway House Cree Nation are demanding answers from the RCMP after a nonverbal and disabled 16-year-old boy was tasered. On Sunday, around 100 people protested at the Norway House RCMP detachment to call for justice. On Saturday, Norway House RCMP responded to a call where a 16-year-old boy threatened to stab a preteen girl. He was asked to show his hands but refused and produced a large knife. RCMP then tasered him. They later realized he had mobility issues. Joseph Brightnose, an educational assistant who worked with the boy, says he is nonverbal and uses a walker. In a phone call, he described the treatment the boy received as unjustified and unlawful.
There's so much hearsay around this situation, and we're not hearing anything from our leaders. We're not hearing anything from our RCMP. We're not hearing anything from the people that know what happened. And that's what's frustrating the family. That's what's frustrating me. That's what's frustrating the community. Nobody really knows what's going on except for what the police are releasing.
Time to step aside for a quick break. Still to come, the Chani Wenjack Foundation has announced funding for a number of initiatives.
but really helping people recognize arts is so much more than just the activities. That can be meaningful. It's identity strengthening. There's so much more to it.
Welcome back. A capacity building grant supporting grassroots Indigenous charities and programs announced the first recipients of its generosity. Oshki Wapawan, or the Blanket Fund, is a partnership between the Hudson Bay Foundation and the Gord Downey and Chani Wenjack Fund. The family of Chani Wenjack, an Anishinaabe boy from Ontario who died while escaping residential school in 1966, helped name the fund. One of the first three grant recipients, the Community Arts Mentorship Program, or CAMP, in Saskatchewan, received the largest amount. They provide training focused on music and arts in underserved Indigenous communities. They will get $175,000 per year over the next 4 years. It's the first large core funding grant the nonprofit has ever been awarded. Co-founders Holly Uzichapi says the grant will help with future programming and widening their reach.
A lot of the stuff that's being able to happen now because of this funding, like it was all a dream or a wish in the future, but now we have like funding to do a lot of these things. So it came on quick, but at the same time, we've always talked about doing this meaningful work to make an impact everywhere, to as many people as possible. And it's not just about like learning how to make things so that you could sell it. It's just like even recognizing the cultural connections, the health and well-being elements of doing these workshops for people, but really helping people recognize arts is so much more than just the activities. That can be meaningful. It's identity strengthening. There's so much more to it.
This week, Nunavut Tungavik Incorporated announced it will be contributing $4.9 million over 6 years to support Inuit employment in the construction industry. Up to 90 Inuit will be trained as apprentices in the construction industry over this time. It's part of a partnership between NCC Development and NTI's Inuit Training Corporation, which will include hands-on training with certified Journeys people. The announcement was made on the site of a planned 18-plex apartment building in Nunavut's capital. According to NCC President Harry Flaherty, this approach will ensure participants won't get left behind.
This funding will allow us to focus on individuals from the beginning towards the end. So they could actually get the basics of the training, enhanced training. We will mentorship program, they'll be identified in that. And from there, they'll go to the practical side where they actually get to be and working in the facility project. And if they are interested in moving forward, they can actually go into trades.
For nearly 20 years, a group of Indigenous role models have been traveling across Canada, inspiring and motivating young people reach their dreams. Our APTN's Tina House recently caught up with them in Vancouver.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here once again with my family, my cousins, Dakota House. Hi, Cuz. How are you?
Cuz, I am fantastic. How are you?
Really good. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Scott Ward, nice to see you.
How's it going? Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Drayden House, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And Pookie Jeet at the end here.
Hi, what up, fam?
Well, these guys have been busy. You've been traveling across the country. Going miles is absolutely going crazy. Tell me about all the places you've been, Dakota.
Oh my goodness, it has just been a whirlwind, but just doing some amazing stuff. We were just in Douglas First Nation. Beautiful spot. All my brothers and sisters out there. Love and respect. And then from there, we went down to Kelowna to work with Sage Trainers. Fantastic time. The future leaders of today and tomorrow, and being able to inspire and motivate them and just give them, just to see their eyes light up. And then we're going up to Wrigley, up in the Northwest Territory. So ding, ding, ding. We're not only going miles, we're going miles.
Absolutely you are. Scott, now how long has Going Miles been going, and how long have you been with the crew here?
I've been with Going Miles for about 18 years. I've been traveling with this guy over here on the road 18 long years. And I think Going Miles is coming up to the 20th anniversary right away here.
That's right.
So I joined a couple years in and working alongside with Dakota, creating the Going Miles conference to the next level.
Amazing. And your specialty is hypnotism. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, I'm the world's first Indigenous hypnotist, and been traveling, doing the shows across Turtle Island in the States and Canada. Been to over 300 communities with my show, and it's lots of fun hypnotizing the youth, the elders, making them do some crazy stuff on stage, but also leaving them with a positive message.
Amazing. And you're going to show us a few tricks today as well as you, Dakota.
That's right, learning some new things.
Awesome. Drayden, the newest member of the pack here. Tell me about what you've been up to and Going Miles. How has that changed your life?
So traveling with Going Miles has honestly been such an opportunity and such a blessing, you know, being able to see my people and their different cultures all across Turtle Island, especially sharing my message of being an oddball, you know, embracing individuality, being different, being yourself, sharing that with the youth and, well, people of all ages really. And I just, you know, love to make new friends, new family, and see new sights.
Amazing. You make me so proud, Drayden. Nice to see you again. Pookie G, my other cuz, tell me what's up with you. What you been up to besides Going Miles?
Oh, wow. So awesome. Well, I'm almost a decade now with Going Miles, so I'm proud to have been to many communities, meet a bunch of new people, make fans and friends as well. So I'm going back to Edmonton, to my hometown, and I will be opening for OB Trice in D12 April 3rd. So proud to perform there. A lot of people are going to come out and see me because I'm not there too often. And yes, just continue going miles.
Wow, amazing, amazing. A pack of superstars here. Okay, let's get to the magic. What do you got?
All right, so usually what a magician will do is they will openly put the cards out to you and say, pick a card, any card. But you know what? They can manipulate the card that they want you to pick. So what I like to do is, I'm going to turn my head, okay? And what I want you to do is, I want you to stick your finger in anywhere. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
And
yeah.
go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, your card.
Okay, got it.
Okay, are you looking?
I am.
Okay. All right, they say the eyes are the windows to the soul. This twinkled in your eye, it's like diamonds, and I've watched your career and I'm so proud of you. You are like a diamond in the sky. And there's 3 behind me. That's got to be a 3 of diamonds only.
How did you know? 3 of diamonds. Wow. That's amazing.
That's the easy part. That's the easy part.
Okay, Scott, get up here. What do you got?
I got a magic die here.
Yeah, okay, magic.
Just roll it.
Okay, let me hold my
Pick a
mic
number.
here. Yeah, okay.
I'm going to turn away this way.
All right.
And
okay.
I'm going to get you to stop.
Stop.
Yeah, don't even look at it.
Okay, all right.
And I'm going to guess the number is a number 3.
Whoa, 3.
What do you know?
Amazing. You
And
guys blow me away. Wow. 3. Check that out.
And I always say, am I psychic or am I a trickster?
Well, we heard the tricksters behind us. The tricksters are squawking behind us. They're telling you what to pick. That's why.
Yeah,
amazing.
Definitely.
Well, listen, I'm so proud of y'all. Thank you so much for joining us today. Keep up the amazing work, and thank you for joining
Shout out
us.
to all my brothers and sisters across Turtle Island going miles. Yeah.
Back to you in studio.
Quite the talents there. Thanks for that, Tina. Time for one more quick break. Coming up, a preview of tonight's episode of Face to Face and more. Stick around. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. And Greg drove 90 minutes to get in the path of the eclipse, and in his words, wow, amazing, moving and incredible. And we have to agree. Thanks, Greg, for the photos captured near Johnstown, Ontario. If you would like to be featured as our photo of the day, you can send your photos to share@aptn.ca. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Starting on the East Coast, 5 in Halifax, showers, and 9 for Fredericton. -2 in Kuujjuaq, 0 in Nain. 17 above in Montreal, showers, and 14 for Val-d'Or. 15 with rain in Sault Ste. Marie, 18 in North Bay. 12 with rain in Thunder Bay and Sioux Lookout. In northern Manitoba, 11 and cloudy for God's Lake and Norway House. 15 with showers in Winnipeg, 12 in Dauphin. 11 in Regina, rain, and 10 in Saskatoon. 10 with showers in Meadow Lake and La Ronge. In northern Alberta, 10 for high level, 12 in Peace River and Grand Prairie. 11 in Edmonton, 12 for Lethbridge. 13 in Vancouver, 12 in Victoria. 8 with showers in Prince George, rain, and 7 in Smithers. -10 for Old Crow, 5 above in Whitehorse. Sunny and 1 in Yellowknife, 2 above for Norman Wells. -13 with snow in Sax Harbor, flurries and 9 below for Pawlatuck. -1 in Whale Cove, 2 below for Chesterfield. -13 in Resolute, -6 in Joe Haven. Dr. Rebecca Neckaway has dedicated her entire medical career to serving First Nations people. Recently, Dr. Neckaway, who is a family physician, was appointed the Chief Medical Officer of Health for the Matawa Health Cooperative in Northern Ontario, overseeing the health and well-being of the 9 First Nations Matawa represents. She is the first Indigenous Chief Medical Officer of Health in Ontario, and our guest tonight on Face to Face.
Growing up in Thunder Bay, I didn't see myself in the physicians who treated me, or even the nurses, definitely not the teachers or principals. And so I recognized that I was becoming a role model that I wish that I saw when I was a kid. And so I hope that by providing the care that I do, it shows other, teens, adolescents, youth, young adults, anyone really, that we can do this type of work and we can care for our own people and hopefully do a more empathetic job at providing that care.
You can catch our interview with Dr. Neckaway right here, right after the news. Sad news to leave you with tonight, as the last fluent speaker of an Indigenous language in the Yukon has died. Percy Henry was the last known fluent speaker of the Han language. The respected elder from Dawson City, Yukon, championed language promotion. The former Trondak Wichin chief devoted much of his time mentoring learners, translating, and even helped write a Han children's book. Henry passed away on Saturday. He was 96 years old. And our condolences to all the friends, family, and those impacted by the life and work of Percy Henry. That's all the time we have for your APTN National News for this Tuesday. For news anytime, you can visit our website, aptnnews.ca, and subscribe to our APTN News YouTube page. I'm Dennis Ward. Marcy McGwitch, thanks for being with us. Stick around. Face to Face is next. Have a great night.